All right, coming up in the stretch, a major Blackhawks move. A good couple weeks for both the White Sox and the Cubs. The Bulls also made some moves, so we're going to get into all of that. Before we do, though, this episode is brought to you by No Bull, Barstool's favorite footwear brand. No Bull is a brand known for their best-in-class footwear, and they're everywhere right now, walking around Chicago at the airport, grabbing coffee wherever I go. They've got so many great styles and colors for every activity, including their newest, most versatile style, the Drive 2. The Drive 2 is launching on July 7th, so that's tomorrow. In both ripstop and mesh styles, mesh for when you want to prioritize breathability, and ripstop when you need to lock in on stability. It's durable, it's flexible, and it's comfortable right out of the box. Cushion where you want, structure where you need. Get the newest, most versatile shoe from Noble, the Drive 2, available on July 7th. It's still my everyday shoe. I'm wearing it right now. I could take it off.
I'm wearing it right now as well. I wore it all over Vegas because you need comfortable shoes when you're walking around that much. So, we have the
same one? No,
they're a little different.
And mine are more mesh.
Yeah, mine are. They're just super lightweight, super comfortable. They're great.
Yes. Fantastic for travel. Fantastic for the office. They look good no matter what.
Workouts.
Yep, workout.
They're good stuff. And exclusively for Stretch listeners, Noble is offering 35% off your first order. Visit nobleproject.com. Use code STRETCH for 35% off your entire first order. That's NOBULLPROJECT.com. Use code STRETCH for 35% off. All right, welcome in everybody to the Stretch. Honestly, I'm most intrigued by the whole Blackhawks situation, so I would like to start there.
Why don't you start with your thoughts,
all right,
questions, or whatever.
Obviously, weeks leading up to the draft, we were talking Stenberg. Is he going to fall? Should we just go with one of these demons? There was a lot of conversation. Blackhawks just said, "Fuck that. We're not doing any of that."
Well,
they traded for Bowen Byram.
Yeah, it became. I think if San Jose went a different direction, and they took a D, and Stenberg was there, they don't make that trade. In fact, I know that. So they would have taken Stenberg at 4. It became obvious that San Jose was going to take him. They made the other move. They ended up picking 2 and 9 after the trade with Florida, I believe. It's kind of been so long now. So it's like that was never going to happen. So they were going to have to take a defenseman at 4. There just wasn't a guy there. Like if there was a Matthew Schaefer level prospect at 4, like a defenseman prospect, they would have taken that guy. But there just wasn't. So, like, if they think Carroll's or Chase Reed or something, if they become really good players, they're probably going to end up being about as good as Bowen Byram. And then, so it's like we're going to wait, but you have to wait 5 years for them to reach that level. So it's just like, let's get our guy. It's time to start winning. They gave up 4. People went insane initially online about the price because anytime, like, top 5 picks in the NHL almost never get traded. So I had a little sticker shock at first. Then you think about it, and it's like, all right, he was the 4th overall pick himself. I mean, we were talking about it on this show back
Declan's.
No, that was the Boquist thing. But this is when we were doing this show.
I remember.
It was the Kirby Doc year, and I was doing like the draft day thing, like Bo Byram, no matter what.
Yep.
They took Kirby Doc. And I like Kirby, but that was a mistake, and it should have always been Byram. And then now they get a 4th overall pick, basically for a 4th overall pick. They had to include a 2nd, whatever, and they had to include Crevier, and that was the piece that kind of like hurt the most. Crevier was a nice story, 6'8", a guy that nobody thought was going to be anything. Ended up being a very nice player last year on a bad team, but he's a 3rd pair defenseman. That is probably the most replaceable roster spot.
It's a filler.
Yeah. And they already did it. They signed Ian Cole, veteran guy. He's kind of going to be like the Connor Murphy of this team. And so who can, he's still a good player, can still play. And so it was just like, it is what it is. Now you got your number 1 defenseman. They signed him to, a nice number, $12.5 million a year. But that to me, like, I think that was an indicator that they're done. Like, it's time to start moving forward. They have 3 first-round picks next year. They kind of swung for the fences on their second-round picks, where they took a defenseman who looks a lot like Lane Hudson, and then they took this other big forward who's kind of plays like a little pussy. But if they can get him to play the right way, at both points, or both of those guys rather, like a year ago this time, were projected top 10 picks. So they fell for injuries and whatever. They ended up sliding the second round. So they took a couple like home run hacks who might end up being good players. But Byram was the thing. They have to start getting better. So they went out and they made that move. I think it took the entire fan base just kind of like looking online. It took everybody like 6, 8, 12 hours, 24 hours to kind of get on board with it. But I think I think he has number one potential. He'll step in. He'll be on the power play. He'll kill penalties. He'll play the toughest matchups. And I think they needed a veteran in that top 4. And really, this 4th overall pick wasn't going to make or break the rebuild. The rebuild, if this is going to be a success, Levshov and Rinzel have to be good. Oliver Moore, Frank Nazar, Anton Frondel, this kid Roman Kantsarov coming over from Russia, those guys have to be good. If they're not good, then this whole thing is fucked anyways, and whoever they took it for wasn't going to be like some magic pill to fix everything. So this was, to me, the right move. They got their guy, and now it's like, and then it's just like when you think things are settling down, then it goes fucking insane over 4th of July weekend with this no Connor Bedard contract, his draft class contemporary, the 3rd overall pick, Leo Carlsson, who just had an awesome year for the Ducks, signs an offer sheet with Philly for the highest contract in NHL history at $18 million. So more than Kirill, more than McDavid, more than anybody. And it's like the price tag, for those who don't know, is if you sign a guy to an offer sheet, you have a week to match, or if you don't match, you get 4 first-round picks. So it's like a big price tag. Philly's fucking going for it. I respect it. But then that has really thrown a wrench in the whole Connor Bedard extension talk, because I think the Hawks, there were reports that they were trying to get him to sign a $12 million contract. That is out the fucking
That's
window.
long gone after. Yeah.
And I was with some hockey people out in Vegas over the 4th. And some people think Carlson's better than Bedard. He's 6'3", you know, what?
That's what I was going to say.
What?
Like, I throw it out the window. I understand Bedard was like the shiny name coming out. And I understand he's had injury issues, but
that's another scary thing too.
I think like it's not that crazy. Like, Leo Carlsson has produced more than Connor Bedard at this point in their careers.
Yeah. Look, and Leo Carlsson's more of a two-way guy. Not that Bedard took big steps in that department last year.
And that's not a knock on Bedard.
Right.
It's more of an indictment on how good Leo Carlsson has been.
Yeah, Carlsson, and then they made the playoffs, and he I think that Bedard on a year-to-year basis over the course of their career will put up more points. But Carlson's a 6'3" two-way center who's probably going to be a guy who's 95 to 105, which it's like Barkov, you know, kind of. I don't know if he's going to be as good defensively as Barkov, but like he's that kind of a guy. So it's like, holy shit, you know, like it's just like we're in this weird space in the NHL where the cap's gone, like it's been flat for feels like almost a decade, like relatively flat, and we got a decent bump next year, but then it's going up a shit ton. So no one knows like what the new normal is for contracts when you're project. So it's like you see 12.5 for Byram, he's the highest paid defenseman in the NHL. Well, Cale Makar might get 20. You know, like it's just like no one knows. It's like a moving target, so it's hard to like figure out like what's good value. Leo Carlsson at $18 million, that might end up in 3-4 years, might end up being like
cheap.
I don't know about cheap, but a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to figure out. But like him being now he will be the highest paid player of the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
Like because Kirill got 17 last year. And it's like, holy shit, like Leo Carlsson out of nowhere, $18 million. And now the Ducks are kind of fucked because they got Gauthier that they need to sign. They just signed their defenseman to like, I think, $10 million while I was traveling yesterday. So now it's like they have some decisions to make. I don't know if they can do the Carlsson thing and sign Gauthier because Gauthier is going to need like $15 million. So it's like now they're all of a sudden, even with all this cap space and a young team, they're kind of squeezed.
Yeah.
And it's like that's a position you don't want to be in. And there's been rumors that Philly pivoted to Carlsson because they offered Bedard and he said no. So I don't know where things are with Bedard. I am stunned that, and I said this on our hockey radio show with Pat Boyle over the winter, where it's like, because that's always been like a constant question, because he's been eligible to sign that extension since last July, and it's like no updates. We're gonna wait till after the season. Then it was like I had heard that they're making progress while he was kind of hurt, and they're hoping to get it done during the Olympic break. Then that didn't happen. No rush. Now it's a rush. Now he officially doesn't have a contract for next year. So you have to get a deal done. Then he has this shoulder injury during training that looked, same shoulder. I believe it's the same shoulder as he did during the year. Mm-hmm. So it's like all of a sudden he might be missing time to start this year. There hasn't been any updates on that, but if he has to have surgery or something, it didn't look good. And the fact that it's been quiet, because if he was okay, it would have been like, he's fine. There's been no reports that I'm aware of. I'll search it again right now. So it's like, does that complicate things? Is he an injury-prone guy? He
has been
kind of slight, but it's like he caught one on the jaw.
That's
got one on the button, and like, what are you gonna do? And then it's like within what 6 months, 8 months, 2 shoulder injuries, mm-hmm. and like he came back, early to try to make the Olympic team basically and help the team, whatever. But like he couldn't, his shoulder was still so tender that he couldn't take face-offs when he first came back. So he wasn't like himself until like the last month of the year he started playing better. But it's like it's just like, what do you do? And I think, I am always in favor, like I'm on the player side where it's like, you have such a short window. Go get your money.
Yeah.
Okay. But we are in a hard cap era. And if you want to win, you're not going to, if you sign an $18 million deal, that impacts who you get to play with.
Yeah.
So all the talk, that Bedard's never had anyone, he's never had anyone. Well, if he signs an $18 million deal, he's probably never going to have anybody. Like, that's just because Frank's already signed, but he's not like that ideal winger. They're going to have Kanserov come in. I spent some time with some Blackhawks people in and around the draft. They think the world of Kanserov. They think that they're going to put him right on Bedard's line, and they're going to hope for the best. But it's like they didn't go get Robertson, and it's like you're going to have to pay Frondell, then you're going to have to pay Rinzel, then you're going to have to pay Levshinov, and it's like I don't know how big any of those contracts are going to be. They're not going to be like $10 million, but it's like you've drafted a ton of guys that you hope are good who are going to need extensions. You're going to have to start paying all these people. If Bedard wants to win, it's just where are your priorities? And I think the Blackhawks eventually, he's got a gun to their head. Because if you just, let him go to an offer sheet, Elliot Friedman reported that he doesn't believe there's any offer sheet coming for Connor Bedard. He said that in his podcast yesterday or this morning. But it's like, Bedard could just be like, no, you're paying me, close to the max. I think the max this year is 20. And it's like, if you don't pay him that and he walks to an offer sheet and you get your 4 first-round picks, well, it's like now you're talking about another, 8 years of this, potentially. So it's like you can't, it's like they have to come up with something. So it's I don't know. It's like a very tenuous time. It's just like I want them to come out and be like, yeah, he's having a shoulder surgery, but we're signing him to a 7-year, $15 million a year contract. I would be like, fucking done, do it. But it's the Carlson thing's been crazy. I'm glad to hear that there's not any offer sheets imminent for him. And the Ducks have, I think, 5 more days to either match or take the picks. But it's like we're in uncharted territory.
What's best case in your mind? What's best case, worst case by the start of the season for Connor Bedard?
For a contract?
For contract-wise.
Best case, David Pagnotta, who's another one of these insider guys, said the Hawks were comfortable at $12.5 to $14 million. That would be best case. I don't think that's possible.
And Bo got 12.5?
Bo got 12.5.
Yeah, so it's going to be more than
that. But it's historically it's different because Bedard's an RFA and Bo is going to Bo has a year left and then he's a UFA.
Yeah.
And that's just in every sport, that's just the way it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But so that goes back to where I said, where it's like, can we meet in the middle? And it's like, we're really more comfortable given the start to your career and your injury history. We're more comfortable doing, 15.
It's hard to imagine that that's not already on the table, though, right?
I don't know.
You would think it is, though. At least I would.
I think that they probably talked to him last summer about something that maybe that's where that 12-5 number came from, because that would have been more appropriate last summer after his first 2 years. The year he had last year when he was fully healthy, you ripped that up. And so he effectively bet on himself, good on him, and he came through in a big way. And I think, but if he wants to be the captain and win and have all, the legacy and be a guy that Canada looks to and all that kind of stuff, I don't think you do it by holding out for $20 million. So
yeah, and I mean, I don't.
It's
the hurtful truth too. It's not like it's not like 3 years in this organization has made him over the moon to be like, this is it, right?
Yeah,
I love the Blackhawks. They're historic. They're original six. But at the same time,
yeah, I do think that they're going through. They've kind of repaired their reputation of how they treat players over the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that people look at Chicago and it's like the team sucks, right? The team sucks, but it's a good place to play. And with the city and it's, the tax thing is a real thing. I think it's exaggerated, like the Florida Vegas thing where people only want to play there because of state tax. I just think that if the Blackhawks were good, or the Flyers, right? They got high taxes, or the Rangers, those teams still get players. It's less than, they're paying more than Florida and less than Canada, but it is what it is.
Just have them move to the region.
It's where you play your games. You get,
I thought it was where you reside when you play those games. It's not.
No.
So if we lived in Indiana and commute here,
I think it's different. I'd have to look that up, but
shockingly, Illinois is not as bad as people think. By the way,
yeah, it's like 4% or something.
It's way better than California. And New York.
Yeah. So I think a deal will get done, but it does feel like because there's also the other thing that's out there is that Kaner is still deciding between Chicago and Buffalo.
Crazy.
So the reports are that he's got offers, which is stunning, that he's down to 2 teams. That he's got an offer from his hometown Buffalo Sabres, who are obviously a very good team last year, and they just lost Alex Tuck, so they're trying to replace, they're not like for like, obviously, in style, but they're trying to replace some production, and he can go home and play for his hometown team, or he can come back here, and if they got him and Bedard's healthy and the young guys take a step with all the chaos that's going on, this last year, they were in a playoff spot until really, or right in striking distance until Bedard got hurt.
Would he be on the same line as him, Kanserov, and?
No, I don't think so. I think he'd be on that second or, depends on how, I hate the numbering of lines, but you'd probably have Frondell on a second line. I think he'd be on the power play with him.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have Kane on the left, Bedard on the right, Byram up top, and those guys, Bedard and Kane can attack downhill, Frondell in the middle, maybe Kanserov somewhere, I don't know. But or Bert, down low. But it'd be a pretty nasty power play on paper, and it's the power play needs help. So I think that there's some traction there, but it's Kane's not going to sign here if Bedard's gone.
Yeah,
right, because then
chasing. He's got his money. He's chasing wins at this point.
He's chasing wins, and I think he's chasing points and legacy and all that.
All that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's you could have, if he's got Bedard, and it's and then Kane gets all the favorable matchups, and he's playing with whether it's Nazar or whoever, he'd be in a good spot and be an awesome story, and he's still got his wife is from here. They have a house in Lake Forest. They still have the place downtown. And it's he grew up in Buffalo. He moved out of Buffalo when he was 13 to go play for Honey Baked or whatever in Michigan.
Well, Buffalo's better.
Yeah, it's
Buffalo's
Phil's
a much
hometown.
Buffalo's a much better team.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
But it's like you could make an argument that like Chicago's more of his home.
Totally,
Yeah,
I get that.
Yeah.
He
for
still
sure.
spends his summers here.
Yeah.
So, so it's like but it's like if there's nothing to believe in if Bedard is gone. So that's like the big. It is a preposterous situation. I don't envy Kyle Davidson right now. It feels like he's in a very tough spot because like you've been building, and it's like you feel like you make a move to like take a genuine step forward. And now it's like, oh, they got this injury, and then you got the contract,
and it's outside of his control, which sucks.
Largely, but also it's just like it's also not.
Well,
because it's like he's the one, like he's gonna make
Yeah.
the decision on where he wants to, what his value is, and what's a good deal for the Blackhawks. And but they got to get it done, and I hope this is just like something that gets done here soon. Because it's like you can't go the whole summer. What is he going to hold out?
Yeah.
And they have the other thing they have is arbitration for RFAs. They didn't go to arbitration. So if the deadline for that has passed. And the other thing with that is once you file for arbitration, like Jason Robertson, who's like the other big name that was out there for Dallas, he ended up filing for arbitration. Once you file for arbitration, you're no longer eligible to sign an offer sheet. So Bedard didn't do that, which is good, but now it's still like the threat potentially of an offer sheet is still there. Hopefully that Friedman report is going to be true where nobody comes knocking for him. But like there's a lot of teams that have money. Like Pittsburgh could offer him $20 million because Malkin's coming back. Crosby's still under contract. They're not like squeezed against it. And then all of those guys are going to walk or retire rather soon. So then they'll have even more money, but then they have their franchise piece and they're fine. So like there's a lot of places where it like theoretically makes sense that could decide today, like, hey, maybe we should do that. Talk to Connor. Maybe he wants to play with Sid for a year, or 2 years. So I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to watch. The Hawks on paper are better than they were a week ago for sure. And hopefully, I remember on the hockey show, I was talking to Saravalli, who's another one of these insider guys. And he was like, in a year from now, we might be asking the question, like, who's the real franchise player here? Is it Bedard or is it Frondell? Because like he thinks Frondell is that good. And if that, so if those are your top two centers, and then you're adding, around them, and the D come good. And I think that was another element of this Byram thing, is just to take a little bit off of Levshinov's plate, like just let him focus on the defensive side of things, and hopefully not. He was a fucking train wreck last year. So if he can take a big step this summer, then all of a sudden it starts coming together pretty quickly. You have your goalie, then you would have your D, and you got the firepower up front, and then you still have these prospects that you've drafted and will draft coming through, and you're in a good spot. But it's like it's kind of go time right now.
Yeah. All right then. Before we get to basketball though, let's move down the floor at the United Center. So we haven't talked post draft.
Yeah.
So the Bulls took Caleb Wilson and Dalen Swain from Texas. Overall, happy with what happened. I think Caleb Wilson was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Dalen Swain, the more like stuff came out about him, people absolutely love this guy.
Yeah.
Biggest knock is that he can't shoot the ball well. But
I've heard, like, again, what the fuck do I know? But I've heard people speculate that, like, he has the type of shot that with some coaching, like, his shot could improve.
We've seen it before.
But
when he got it.
He's
drafted.
a fucking bucket. Like, they're saying, like, he handles
the
guard and, like,
it attacks the rim, like, super hard.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those things where it's like, when they called the name, like, I don't know who that is. And then you watch the highlight package, like, oh, I do remember that kid from the tournament and the SEC tournament. It's like, that kid's fucking nasty.
Yeah.
And so, but it's like, so you get the other like thing that I love about that, who is trying to get him with the next pick or like right after.
The Thunder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Presti likes him, I like him.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then it ended up getting Bennett Sturts, who's going to be incredible there. But
Yeah.
regardless.
The Iowa player, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh. Like, he was so good, and he had someone face guarding him the whole game and played 40 minutes a game.
Didn't
So
miss, yeah.
I know it's going to be cool to watch him, even though
Yeah.
Thunder just gets scarier. Regardless, we have a ton of just like 6'7", 6'8" guys.
Yeah.
We also signed Norm Powell, who's going to be our guard and probably our leading scorer.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a good signing. We re-signed Zach Collins, that was the only move I didn't love because I actually really like Jalen Smith. I don't know how much you guys got to see him last year, but I liked him a lot. So that kind of makes a logjam there at center with the trade that we picked up Claxton from the Brooklyn. So I don't know. That's the only thing that I'm a little hesitant towards. Granted, it might just be me liking Jalen Smith as a product of like a guy who plays hard, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he might be a winning player. But there's no evidence that Claxton or Zach Collins are either.
Yeah, but if you think about how everybody felt about the Bulls on deadline day, it's like Kobe, like all they got was second round picks, and you're like, God fucking damn it, like this is gonna go on forever. Then you win the lottery, and you get Caleb Wilson, and I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about Draymond Green as an analyst, but the way that like he's foaming at the mouth, I saw clips of him talking about.
A lot of people are.
Yeah,
Draymond Green, he knows basketball.
No, I know, but some people are blowhards, and I don't know enough about like his takes in general. I just know him more as a player. But like I saw the clip of him talking about Caleb, and it's just like the Garnett comparisons. Also, I just like the kid. Like he's good in interviews, everything he says, like he's like intense when he plays. Like I think that this is like a potential, like you want this guy as the face of your franchise kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
off the court, on the court, the whole package.
Interesting. Interested how Splitter's going to, set up the rotations because Asenge is still a guy who needs to be given a chance, even though he was injured most of last year and played like a couple of games in the league.
Yeah.
He measured in at 6'11" for summer league.
What?
He grew, which is crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I said, we got all these like high picks. All these guys are like 6'7" to 6'11".
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how all the pieces of the puzzle kind of fit.
Yeah, and like we were saying, after deadline, you had a whole team of guys who were 6'5" and under. So it's like they've totally transformed the roster. And Eddie, you and I were talking like before we started, where it's like they might be in like the play-in game again, but in a good way.
Yeah, because
that means it's like for the first time ever, it feels like you're trending up and you're not just like in the middle.
Yeah, and they changed the lottery stipulation. So if you're bottom three, like
Yeah.
your odds, it hurts your odds. So you don't want to be there.
Right.
So I'm back in the NBA right now. I'm back in on the NBA right now.
Yeah.
NBA offseason and playoffs, I should say. I still am like
Yeah.
82 of those fucking things. Like I'm gonna be interested to watch and flip it on, but like
CHSN worth the $20 a month because the Hawks will be interesting. The White Sox are interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bulls will be worth watching for the first time in 5 years.
Yeah, for sure. And like they're doing different things too. Like I saw Griffin and Splitter went on Waddle and Sylvie.
Okay.
Like they haven't done like
that's
like
true.
Karnisovas was like hidden in his cave. On
When
the
is the
third
last
floor.
time you've heard a Bulls executive speak publicly?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't know they went on there.
Yeah, they went on there. Graham, excuse me, not Griffin. I'm gonna fuck that up forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, Graham and Splitter went on there. So like they're kind of there seems to be change there. So good. That's great.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Has Summer League started?
Yeah.
It started, but the Bulls have not played yet.
That I knew. Right. That's what I was asking.
Yeah.
For the Bulls.
Their first games this week.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm kind of excited to see because both the draft picks and Asenge are going to play.
Yeah. It's great.
So, yeah. All right then. Baseball. White Sox. Do you want to do? Do you want to text? Do you want Chuck on here? You said.
Yeah, I want to get Chuck on.
Okay.
We
now
just
let's
had a
start.
great talk downstairs. I just texted him.
And text him. Then we'll start with Cubs. Then.
Yeah.
Listen, I know we've talked already. You've been like in Super World Cup mode.
But some of it's like I'm kind of aware, but now I feel like I'm a curse. So I'm not.
Yeah. You
The Cubs
cannot watch the Cubs again.
They've won 10 of 13.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm not watching.
Yeah.
So
It was 9 of 10 at one point, and I'm like, man,
Yeah,
you
they
really cannot watch a game.
they just lost 2 or 3 to the Cardinals,
Yeah.
but they won yesterday.
Unfortunately, yeah.
But like, like there have been moments where it's like I have thought about going, then I decided not to.
Good.
And there have been moments where I'm like, let me get out of all these fucking apps and pull up Marquee, and I haven't done it. I am burning money on Marquee for the good of the state.
So essentially, what I mean, I'm sure you've been following along, but like, thank God for the New York Mets.
Oh, that's the worst team in baseball.
Yeah.
I know not record-wise or talent-wise, that is the worst team in baseball.
Yeah, and they both times the Cubs swept them at Wrigley, and then we took 4 away from them at City. Both times the Mets have been the catalyst for like the Cubs.
Yeah,
and they're taking off. So.
They didn't lose to them once this year, right?
No.
So that's and they don't play them again.
No.
Yeah.
So shout out to the New York Mets. And
I love the Mets.
I feel bad for the people who root for them because it's miserable. Dansby Swanson home run followed by the Norway people going nuts in the bleachers.
If I were Frank the Tank, I would like be drafting warplanes against Norway.
Why? It's not their fault.
I know it's not their fault, and it's awesome, by the way.
Dude,
and I want to talk about that at the end of the episode, soccer a little bit.
Yeah, the thing where like the Mets are the absolute disaster. I think they had the errors in the outfield. And then they have like the little post game thing, and like Mr. Met is just dancing behind like all
that too.
Yeah.
That
like
too.
they're just an embarrassment in every single way.
That too. It's kind of crazy. The Cubs have the fifth best record in baseball.
It's insane. They were 500 2 weeks ago
with no pitching.
No pitching.
Yeah.
All our starters are hurt. Our bullpen stinks, and I don't know. We still talk about them like they're fucking the worst team in baseball. So. It's hard.
The most Jekyll and Hyde team I've ever seen in my life.
It really is. They won 10. They have 2 10-game winning streaks. And
a 9 of 10,
yeah, so
a 10-game losing streak, another streak where they were just like PCA carried him on his back All-Stott.
NL Player of the Month. So, yeah, I don't know. The Cubs are like in a super weird spot, but
I think they've weathered the storm. I consider them dead as doornails.
So
before I left for Ireland, and go ahead.
I don't know if you can be like, I think they've weathered the storm. With the reality is, PCA has to cool down, and they still have no pitching. So it's like, have they weathered the storm, or are we waiting for the other shoe to drop?
PCA is going to cool. He cannot. I don't think do this over the entire season, right? I didn't think he was going to do this as long as he has already, so who knows, but I don't think he can keep doing this. He's the best player on planet Earth right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he will if he has a month stretch where he hits like 280 and gets on at a 330 clip and has, a handful of home runs and looks pretty good, keeps doing his thing defensively. Are the Cubs fucked? Because
right. If he gets back to average,
if he's just like playing solid baseball,
right?
Yeah, but I don't know. Like Bregman has to wake the fuck up at some time. Like at some point.
I thought he kind of did over the last week. I couldn't watch.
He had a home.
He did
box score
a little bit, but still not enough. Like he had a great opportunity.
Swanson has a little bit.
Swanson definitely woke up.
Yeah. I mean, he had the 5 in 2 games or whatever.
Like right after everyone's like, we got to bench his ass. He's the worst hitter in baseball.
I think I bet Dansby Swanson for like 3 weeks to hit a home run, and then the second I stopped betting it, he hit 5 in those 3 games or 2 games. It was infuriating.
Yeah, so I don't know. We end with 6. We got 6 at Baltimore, at Cincinnati, 2 mediocre to bad teams. Like finish the first half strong and then
get rest,
get rest healthy, and then just come back.
And then it's like, what is the timeline for some of these guys?
That's what I was just about to ask.
Pitchers. It's like, is Steele supposed to still come back in August?
Steele, from what I understand, he will pitch at some point. He's not going to start though.
Oh, he's not.
Yeah, like that's the rumor. Well, I don't know any inside. I think the Cubs have said that.
Okay.
Like it probably won't be from a starting point. It's like,
Cabrera?
hey, we could use help in the pen anyway.
Yeah.
So like that's okay.
What about everybody else?
Tyon just logged 3 1/3.
Yes, Tyon's coming back
yesterday.
Cabrera.
Jackson Wiggins is looking to come back this. He pitched yesterday or 2 days ago. Shelby Miller, he's done.
Cabrera's supposed to throw some bullpens before the All-Star break, so he still seems a little far off.
Then it's like, all right, if you're saying what Dave says and you've weathered the storm, okay, and you're having the pitchers kind of come back, All-Star break, whatever, do you then just push in and go get Scooble? and really try, because it's like, hey, like we've been through fucking hell and back. We're right there. It's been an odd way to get there, but we're right there. Let's really actually try.
What's Peralta's contract situation?
I feel like the Cubs prospect situation too. You guys don't have any like can't deal prospects, but you have very good prospects that I think you should deal right now when they're at their highest. So like a rental like Skubal or a rental like, I think Peralta's a rental. You guys should go for that. Like when are you?
Peralta's he's on a club option, so he's an unrestricted free agent this year. So
yeah, that's even better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know how I think about the Cubs. If it were up to they're 10 games over now. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the division is probably not going to happen. But once you get to the playoffs, if you have that Tarek Skubal type, that's pretty good. That's a good start for a 3-game series. And you're the Cubs. You should be trying to win a World Series every single year. To Ed's point earlier, I don't think Swanson or Bregman can be as bad as they were in the first half for the second half, correct? So
Bregman for sure.
I mean, this is
Swanson
your team.
has kind of been who he is.
Yeah.
Just a little worse this year, obviously. But Bregman, like, I know something's still alive in there, right?
He's not this bad.
I know. That's
he's
what
not
I'm saying.
this bad.
It's crazy.
That's why the All-Star break could not come at a better time for the Cubs.
Yeah, for sure.
Honestly, probably a lot of teams in baseball, White Sox included, but the Cubs need it more than anybody. And just go sit on a beach, throw back some Mai Tais, get your head right off baseball for a few days, and then come back and hit. Like, Tarek Skubal should be the target. I think the Tigers stink. And
I
like Joe Ryan for the Cubs too. I like that one.
He's really fucking good.
Yeah.
The Cubs the Twins are kind of sneaky.
They were kind of that was a rumor last year too for Joe Ryan.
Yeah, but every time they're kind of in it, they always deal.
I know. Right.
The problem is unfortunately the 2 moves Jed has kind of made with our top prospects that haven't really worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Cam Smith for Kyle Tucker.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Owen Casey for Cabrera's. Cabrera still got time.
They're not like egg in the face though.
No, not
it's
at
not
all.
like Tatis for James Shields. You're not like giving away
totally
huge talents. That's what I'm saying about your guys' prospects. You guys aren't losing like, grade A guys to these teams when you're making these deals.
One other thing about the lineup, like we've all talked about Bregman and Swanson as being, very disappointing. Michael Busch has also like he doesn't get nearly the heat that he should because you have those 2 guys
making over $100 million,
and they've been worse. Mm-hmm. But Michael Busch, like if he has the second half where he looks like he did last year, then all of a sudden it's like it is starting to come together. If they can just get so we're talking about if PCA gets back to being like an average, like a good player. But it's like, can that be mitigated by Michael Busch coming alive and Bregman coming alive? And
that's
get your pitching health back, and all of a sudden, like you are like a very good team again.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like the reversion.
Nico's been, since he got hit in the head. So I don't know. It's just like it feels like this is a time with like this work stoppage coming, and like the team everybody's the right age. Like if you're in that wild card spot, or I think there's still 6 games back of the Brewers, but like fucking one time, go do it.
White Sox wise, big series save this week.
It was a series save. Let me ask you: were you upset with series split with Cleveland?
I mean, the way that series was going, it felt like we were going to get swept or go 1-3. So I was talking to Dave about it in the cave earlier. I said, teams of White Sox past would roll over after 2 walk-off wins like that. And to get out of there with a split and the division lead, I mean, that's a huge win, I would say. Morale-wise and, standings-wise also.
Yeah, that was the most stressful 4 games. I got back Friday.
Yeah, Dave missed the heart-wrenching.
I missed that
on
one
Thursday.
for travel day.
That one,
oh my God. It was the Latin.
Like my dad was asleep during that one. You were gone. Like people who were not watching that do not get how much of a heart-wrenching loss that was because it felt so good
until it didn't.
Until it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next night, you get that big Vargas home run, and you're like, oh, we're sitting in the driver's seat. We're up 3-1.
Then
you get a freaking rain delay. You lose probably 2 innings of your starter that you would have got from K because he was cruising.
He was.
And then you had to shorten the bullpen again, back-to-back nights, and then you just, there's something about Progressive Field where you just get lulled to sleep and start playing Guardians ball.
It's like the Northwestern Ryan Field of Major League Baseball. It is the sleepiest, just quietest. It's
Saturday there was a delay too, right? So there was
a ton of rain this weekend.
By the time that
Saturday was perfect out.
Okay.
Yeah, 4th of July was perfect. Friday was the delay.
Okay.
So Davis Martin didn't go deep in the game on Thursday, so they had to use a bunch of their bullpen arms that day. Then Friday, Kay was cruising, and he probably could have got us 6 or 7 innings, and they had to go to the delay, and we lost our starters, so we had to shorten the bullpen again. So that's how incredible those 2 games we just won were, that we were very shorthanded in the bullpen. Saturday,
and they gutted them
Sunday.
out. That's the storyline for this White Sox team is they are so gutsy and so resilient, and they do not quit under any circumstances. And whatever happens record-wise at the end of the year, I truly appreciate how they play baseball, and baseball gods will bless them because of how they play baseball. And that goes from literally the first guy on the roster to the last guy on the roster. They all have a job, and they all perform that job almost perfectly. Obviously, there is still not a great amount of depth on the team. They still struggle on the margins a little bit. And that's something that the Guardians do not lose. They lose because they're not very good. They don't lose because they beat themselves. The White Sox have beat themselves a little bit recently, and
they have not really done kind of the whole year.
Booting the ball in the field, it's kind of weird. They've had a really solid defense.
Montgomery's had 3 errors in the last week or so that have all led to losses. Yesterday's didn't lead to a loss, but the very next pitch, it was a game-tying 3-run home run when they were up by 3.
Peters made a nice play on Saturday.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
I at the start of the season when he was in the lineup and they're like, this guy was playing for the banana ball or whatever, I was so embarrassed that he was on the roster, and he has turned into not just a fun little player that's played. He is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he's going to keep doing this offensively because he's been very good. He has a 130 weight.
Even half a season, you won this trade. It was cash considerations with the Rays. You outraised the Rays. Nobody does that in a trade.
He is so good defensively.
Yeah.
So good defensively. And that's the other thing about this White Sox team. They hit, I'll get to most of the time, 95% of the time, they're hitting cuts. Their fundamentals are clean and crisp. Can we talk about the contact play, though?
Oh, yeah, I saw you were getting in the weeds with.
Can you explain the contact play to the people that are listening?
I mean, you're running on contact, but if you see it go to somebody at the corner where you can obviously stop, you're going to stop. Use your brain a little bit.
Yes. The contact
just
play.
Put your head down.
So I was arguing with a few people on the internet about this. The White Sox ran into multiple outs right at home plate. The infield was in. The White Sox had a runner on third, not a force out, so he didn't have to run. And both times there was a chopper to a corner infield, and the runner on third just ran into an out by 30 feet at home. And people are like, oh, that's a contact play. I'm like, the contact play doesn't mean just sprint into an out as soon as the ball is hit. It means you look and use your brain for a split second off contact to see if you should run or not. That is it. I know, literally it means you run as soon as the ball is, but if you were taking it literally, that would mean that you run when it's a fly ball or a line drive. It doesn't matter what kind of contact. It just means you run on contact. You're not going to do that if it's a fly ball, obviously. So fucking use your brain and don't run into outs at home. And I was arguing with a bunch of idiots on the internet this weekend about that. And another thing I was arguing about, Sean Burke.
Yeah.
This dude is awesome. This dude is turning into such a
great on Saturday.
Good pitcher. I said he reminds me of Justin Verlander right now. Now, obviously, I do not think that he is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I was talking about what he looks like when he throws a baseball. He's 6'6", 240, 250. He's a monster of a human like Verlander is. He throws 99 miles an hour. He was dotting edges of the plate, and he's got a hammer hook that is just 12-6, and that's like not a pitch that you see in baseball often anymore because they go to more sweepers and like a combo of vertical and horizontal action instead of just vertical action. And it reminds me of Justin Verlander. Obviously, he's not going to win near 300 games, I don't think, in his career, or, you know, win 3 or 4 Cy Youngs or be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm saying stuff-wise, it reminded me of Justin Verlander. And if you look at what he's done over his last, like,
4 games, I think.
4 or 5.
He's been our stopper. He's been our Davis Martin.
He has been so good.
What Davis Martin was earlier in the season, where he was the guy, you know, you lose 2 games, Davis Martin comes out, wins you that game.
Yep.
Sean Burke did it the last 3-4 starts.
He's been
huge starts. That Yankees game was massive. That could have been a bleeding situation.
Massive.
Yesterday, massive. He saved the bullpen big time. You know, no, that was Saturday, the last game. But I think the other biggest thing with the White Sox that I've been screaming on Twitter about is ABS usage. It's driving me insane. We're in like 0-0 counts in the first inning challenging pitches. And
that are like
one of our huge challenges. Like, have some sort of strategy.
I will say this.
I don't.
I would assume they're starting to develop strategies league-wide on how and when to use the ABS. The White Sox have done and I haven't looked at other teams' usage of it, but based on what I see, they're bad at it.
It is.
They're so bad at it.
Infuriating to watch. Like, there should be just set rules on a sheet in the dugout being like,
yes,
you cannot challenge a pitch unless you have 2 runners on with 2 outs.
Something,
or
yeah.
late in the game, because when you lose one.
The Tribe did it yesterday, too, and they fucked themselves. They burned them in the first
And I've
first
seen,
couple hitters.
I don't know who we played. There was a team that we just played that they were getting squeezed to death, and they didn't use a challenge for the first 5 innings. I'm like, you kind of got to do that.
Yeah.
It's a massive, massive time to do it, because they are huge later in the game.
They
if
are.
you don't have it, you're in trouble.
Young team.
The bullpen.
Yeah.
Right, but, you know, you're right. I don't know. Is it a thing where, like, this team's so young and just fucking, you know, Venable's probably like, just go do your fucking thing. Like, let's not get bogged down in that shit.
I understand.
Because
I
once
agree.
they start thinking, then, like, the kids stop being, you know.
I think that Teal gets a little too geeked up. And this is offensively and defensively.
He's kind of got some spaz tendencies.
He's a little.
I love it because, like, you can
awesome.
tell he really wants to win and do good.
But, like, he'll stick a strike 3, and it'll be just off the place by a hair, and he'll be sprinting to the dugout, and, like, you can see it because they have the box on TV, you know, and you're like, no, that's off the plate by a 1/4 of an inch. And he'll be, like, smacking his head, and I'm like, no, don't do that. Just relax. He does it when he's hitting, too. He's always fucking with his batting gloves. Like, temper yourself down, young lad. I can say that.
I do love that part of the game, though, the way they instituted it, where, like, the pitcher, catcher, or batter is the only one that can.
And it's been quick. I thought I was going to hate it at first because I like human error and, you know, umpires. That's another thing we should talk about. The White Sox, or not White Sox, Major League Baseball just bought out all the worst umpires. So Laz Diaz, CB Buckner, they have like indefinite contracts. They can go until they retire. That's why it's so hard to be a major league umpire, because they just do it until they die.
I mean, those are like big names that you know as umpires.
So they bought them out. I don't know what that entails, how much they got, but those guys are done at the end of the year.
Wow.
They're just like, you guys are so bad you can't work anymore.
Sad.
So, but Chuck and I were talking about the bullpen down in the cave as well, and we think we have the perfect way to make it better.
Yeah. I think James Fox, Sox Twitter, was tweeting, you know, there's a couple arms in the system right now that could be your guys they could bring up that are electric arms. You have Shane Smith, you have Tanner McDougal, and then what me and Dave were talking about, probably Hagen Smith is going to be a reliever this year at least.
Dude, if I know that innately teams and organizations are going to be comparing their pick to the picks that went a few before them and after them. Hagen Smith, he was 5th overall, right? 4th overall?
5th or 6th.
Whatever it was. He was a high pick. They could have drafted a handful of guys that are
Tags, Caglione, Connor Griffin.
A handful of guys that are already like
ones.
Almost superstars or will be. He hasn't performed all that well yet. I am saying put him on the Garrett Crochet, the Chris Sale plan, throw him to the Carlos Rodon plan, which the White Sox have been really good at doing, historically even. get him in the bullpen, get him acclimated, and if he throws strikes and he commands his 3 pitches on the edges over the course of the rest of the season, then you can revisit him starting next year and moving forward. But this year, get him in the bullpen and make him your guy.
So with that said, I mean, I know he missed some time, but Schultz has not been great, right?
It was weird. He's been weird, but like even last start was encouraging. They lost, but he looked much better when his knee was
4 1/3, 2 hits, 3 earned runs. But yeah, so
he was getting good swing and misses. Like looked sharper than his
7 Ks.
Yeah, looked sharper than his last couple starts. But like
Schultz will be fine.
But is that something you consider with him?
If Schultz does like kind of, obviously you want more than 4 1/3 out of him, but if he is that in the 4th or 5th role the rest of the year, fine.
What I'm saying is, if you're going to make a move at the deadline, I think your relief pitchers should be brought from within.
Yes.
Whether it be a combo of those 4 or 5 guys we just talked about, and then you should go out and get a 3-4 starter like Sonny Gray, Michael Wacha, those type of players. And we have a logjam at shortstop if you look at it right now in our prospects,
including
with what's going to happen Saturday. We're probably going to pick a shortstop between Pulaski or Emerson. You picked a shortstop last year. You have Carlson, and then your top prospect's a shortstop with Colson Montgomery, and then the 3 guys who are on the team that are actually shortstops too, and Jacob Gonzalez and those guys. So I see the odd man out being Billy Carlson, and I see you can package him for one of those 3 or 4 guys. I would hope, and then just try to
Do you think that this group will actually do that? Like this front office?
Yeah.
I think Carlson's super expendable in my mind.
He couldn't be more expendable. I also don't
on the payroll.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They have they really don't have any payroll.
I understand. But
fair, and I'm not a Jerry Reinsdorf defender, but historically, when the attendance has ticked up and the White Sox are winning, he has said yes to trades like that.
Okay.
I'm not, obviously at the beginning, like when they started winning, I said target players like Mike Trout. That was like a pie in the sky pipe dream. He could absolutely do that,
right?
Or raid the Mets, but
he won't.
He won't. He should. He won't. It'll be someone like a Sonny Gray. Even then, I don't. That might be a little too much.
Yeah, like the Reed Detmers dream before.
That's too much.
It was like you got to trade Caleb Bonnemer and.
But realistically, they got the prospect space to be in play for a Peralta.
Yeah,
you could. I don't know if I want to push my chips in. I'm a big fan of what Bonnemer's doing down in Double A.
They're not trading Bonnemer right
and
now.
I think he's an outfielder probably in the future, a right-handed hitting outfielder or third baseman that you could have on your team. He's super athletic, but like Carlson to me feels like a very glove first prospect that
you really have to trust your development.
Yeah, and that you gotta sell high on him. He was just the 7th overall pick in the draft last year, and if you keep showing him in the minors and he's not hitting,
he's been in.
His value just plunges as soon as people start seeing him. So, yeah, you might trade low on him at this deadline, but it might be the highest you could ever trade on him.
Have that.
Yeah.
So
all right, well, good thing.
He hasn't hit a home run yet. This year.
With the draft coming up, is it going to be Grady now? Because if you have this shortstop logjam, and does it make more sense to take the high school kid because it's not like a more immediate need that if he has the higher ceiling and you can afford to wait 3-4 years?
To me, it depends on how much higher you think the ceiling is. Now, I shout out to the guy who slid in my DMs like 8 years ago with the Prep Baseball Report login. He's like, hey, I work for PBR. You can have this for free because I still use it regularly. I was watching his PBR showcase things a couple before I went to ours, so maybe 10 days ago. I thought he was like some tooled up twitchy freak. He runs a 7 flat 60 at shortstop. That's like a very average. I was 7'1". That's shows you.
Okay. Yeah.
He's not some, but do they think that they can turn him into I don't know. They got to weigh that. How much higher is his ceiling? Is it worth waiting the 5 years?
But I just
compared
to if you have Montgomery there and you're very comfortable with him, obviously as your shortstop.
Montgomery can and probably will move to third in spite of how good defensively he's been. You're not going to put Cholowski or Emerson there at at third base down the line.
No, that's kind of my point though. So, but Montgomery can do it. So if you think Emerson's the better prospect and you're comfortable with Montgomery for the next 3-4 years at short, then does it make sense just logically to be like, we'll leave him there and we'll develop Emerson and then we can talk about moving Colson if he's Steven.
Yeah, it's. I've had people tell me they're not envious of Chris Getz's position right now, because it's a lot of pressure. You can't fuck this pick up.
Yeah.
However,
they've done a lot of fucking up with top picks.
Not really though. Not
with the last rebuild. With that, whatever. I'll let you go.
Their top picks. I
just think of the Oregon State kid who was
Madrigal and Vaughn were both.
But then you got to also think like Garrett Crochet was the number 11 pick that everyone was like,
Chris Sale
what the fuck are the Sox doing?
Yeah, Chris Sale was a flyer. Tim Anderson.
So it's they're 50-50 at the draft.
They're not.
I was thinking about Madrigal and Vaughn.
Position player wise, it's been
those
weak.
Guys
but then Colson.
I hated the Madrigal pick because he's a midget, but those guys were going to go top 5 anyway.
No, I know.
Like they were,
but they're misses in the top 5.
Sure, but they would have been misses by other teams too.
Yeah,
I think prior to the season, Chris Getz was in an easy decision mode with Cholowski because he was going to be the quick track to the major league team, and it was the easy choice. And you hadn't seen what he did in the college season. Now that they're playing well, it gives you the.
That's what I'm saying. People are like, "Oh, I'm not envious."
Cholowski,
he's in a great spot.
Cholowski looked really good in the beginning of the season playing SEC talent, and then he got in the Big Ten season, and he kind of like didn't look as great. So it's like, what do you guys want to do?
The other
there?
thing, like, he's not some. Connor Griffin was in our office a couple months back, and I shook his hand. That was a middle linebacker I was shaking my hands with.
Yeah.
Was 6'3", 225 of solid muscle. Like, that's not Rock Cholowski either.
Rock Cholowski's Alex Bregman. That's what his ceiling, I would say.
Okay. Which is
very,
awesome.
Very solid winner,
awesome.
Pedigree, but he's not going to be Mike Trout.
Exactly. I was watching him. I'm like, this is the guy that people were calling like the best college shortstops in Tulo and shit. I'm like,
but Alex,
he's really good.
Prime Alex Bregman's a great comp. Like that, I would take that all day at the number 1 pick.
Fuck yeah,
we're not talking
like
NFL
borderline MVP a couple years.
Yeah.
For sure. Well,
that's my point though. Is Chris Getz is in a good position. It's either good, and even if it weirdly is Von Lackey, the catcher.
I would hate that personally, but you don't know. It's the MLB draft.
Bro, he was so fucking good this year.
Shit is weird in the MLB draft compared to these other drafts. So it's like you're talking, signing bonuses and all that stuff. Like, hey, we're going to try to save here to draft somebody who might have been, a top 15 pick with the 30th pick or something like that. So there's all these weird things that go on.
Slotting and shit.
Yeah, I try to pay attention to it. I still don't get it. I have to have people explain it to me.
I hate how it's not like other sports where you just take the best player and that money does take it. Like you have to kind of manage a budget because ideally you would just take who you see as the best future player, regardless of everything. But you do have to kind of like that's the other thing, though. Emerson and Cholowski are both going to get the exact same thing. They're rep by the same agency.
Yeah.
Not the same agent, but the same agency. And they're going to get the exact same thing. And you got to take NIL into account now, which is you never had to until the last couple.
I'll be pretty happy either way, though. Like
that, but like I go back and I said this in May. I was like, I've watched like 5 or 7 UCLA games on Big Ten Net now, and nothing stuck out to me where I was like, that's the guy right there.
He has a very hard time pulling for power. That's what they're saying. Like unlocking his pull side, he hits a lot of his. Almost kind of reminds me of Andrew Vaughn's swing early on, like where he would hit a lot of long right center field home runs.
I was thinking about that because people have been floating Aroldis Chapman to this,
but
and
people are saying the Sox development team has unlocked that in a lot of those guys' swings. So like Jacob Gonzalez was a guy who wasn't hitting for a lot of pop, and they opened him up, and I don't know.
Obviously Montgomery.
We'll I trust them more than I ever have in my adult life. It is
doing stuff
night
right and day.
It's really weird. It's really weird, And
Colson Montgomery is.
This might be the most interesting time in the history of this show.
I have never
Like every team has got a little something going on.
I have never had this much fun in my adult life.
Oh, I
rooting
can't.
for my teams.
It's
sad that I had to say that. The Bears won a playoff game. The White Sox aren't horrible, and Illinois made a Final Four. That's the only time.
It's true.
And that's the happiest time of my adult life, rooting for my teams.
Yeah.
It's nice.
So,
It's
nice. It's cool.
And the Cubs, Bulls, and Hawks too.
Yeah,
it's like
we got Caleb Wilson.
Northwestern's
ball
opening a
Friday.
new facility, and they went on a recruiting splurge over the last few weeks.
Notre Dame,
Top ranked recruiting class in the country, right?
also
A&M, I believe.
they have like the best odds to win the national championship.
Oh.
So
And we get on this. The Americans are going to beat Belgium today, right?
yeah, I think so. I'm so fucking sick of everybody.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I have some. Okay. I'll say this. I was in Ireland last week. Perfect timing because it was their Gaelic football championships. I got to go to one. That sport blows soccer out of the water, first of all.
Okay.
Second of all, soccer, the fanfare and everything around the World Cup has been so cool. I haven't been completely a part of it. I've been watching from a distance. I think soccer, with just a few minor rule changes, could be the biggest sport on earth. Like in the country, it is the biggest sport on earth.
Yeah.
But in the country,
What are the rule changes? Let them hit.
that red card, make it like basketball. 5 fouls, then you're fouled out.
So
Make it a little more physical.
So, I mean,
I don't think that's a bad rule change because that.
Hold on. Let me. They have that with the yellow cards where you get 2 and you're out. All right.
Make it 5.
5 is too much. Like you played in that indoor thing with guys who aren't even that great. They fucking killed us. Like it's so hard that if you were allowed to like really foul, like 5, that no one's ever scoring.
Okay,
So
find
let's
a
just get-
middle ground.
But
But
all right, hey, I don't want to litigate the sport. The biggest talking point is this Balogun thing.
That's what I'm getting to.
Okay.
The fact that was a red card and he has to sit out the next game, that should have just been a common foul. That you add it to the tally. If it's his 4th or 5th, whatever X number you come up with, then he's gone.
Right.
But the fact that they have to sit out the next, that is so fucking stupid.
that's-
And it should be free substitution.
I love
If the best
watching him
player's
play
on
with
the
the
field.
player down though. The rest of the game, like I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh yeah. So,
Like
but
last night was electric when they were just like
That
had
was
to
a great game.
stand on their head.
that
in
was
the
the
goal.
best game of the tournament. It was the Mexico.
It was awesome.
Like playing, the power play aspect or whatever you could say that is like. I think that's a cool thing to have.
Yeah, and like that's my thing with the Balogun thing, where people are like, "Oh, like they're getting special treatment," blah blah blah. Like, it never should have been a red card. Messi did it in the group stage. He got nothing. It's not like red cards typically have like an element of intent to them. He was like making a play on the ball,
Landed
tight
on his-
quarters,
yeah.
landed on it, whatever. To me, he got the red card there. We're already out, like, without our best attacking player, striker. You can argue him or Pulisic for best attacking player. For 30 minutes they were up 1-0, so they had to ride out the rest of the game. If they had lost that game, people would be screaming about the injustice of that. And everybody, like 95%, 99% of people agree that should not have been a red card. But now that it's like, they've deemed it a red card, and they're like letting him play in the next game. They're like, that's not right either. Which one is it?
Right.
And it's like you're just gonna blindly it's the rule, but that's a fucking bad. It was a bad. We're gonna like double enforce a bad call. We're already punished for 30 minutes, a man down. So like it's just like, yeah. Is it weird that Trump had to get involved? Yes, but if they had just handled it, if they had gotten it right the first time,
Was it the Belgian king?
It's
he bitching about it.
It's like that's just the name of their federation. He might have been bitching about it, but the name of their like we're the United States men's national team or whatever, U.S. Soccer Federation. Theirs is like the Royal whatever Belgium.
Okay.
It's not like
they're a monarchy kind
sort of. It's not like the king like issued a decree.
Okay.
I don't get the suspension on top.
That's
playing
stupid.
a player
That's
down
what I'm
is
talking
more
about.
than
If he
Right.
throws a
in a knockout game, and that so like I think it should just be like how hockey does it, where it's like you can have a 5-minute major, a game misconduct,
Yes.
like for, whatever, and then if it's like something that everyone listening to this show will remember, like the Marian Hossa thing where Rafi Torres back, whatever, like he tried to fucking kill him. Then you suspend him.
Sure.
Okay. That's not what this was.
No, that's what I'm saying.
It was a bad call in real time, and it's like, oh, the rule's the rule. Fuck the rule.
Get rid of it.
That's a bad, like, we're just going to, like, jeopardize. Like, this could be, and I was arguing with an English friend of mine, like, over text. It's still going on. But it's like, well, this is, like, a bad example, a bad precedent. It's like, no, it's not. Like, this is a bad, like, it was a bad call, and on top of it, I think it's a bad rule, but it's like, you guys want to use a bad rule to double enforce a bad call, and you think that's fair? This is the World Cup. It comes along every 4 years. If we get knocked out, we get knocked out, but I don't want to get knocked out because one of our best players is out because of a bad rule, and it's like, this is Balogun. He's in his prime. You never know. He could tear his ACL in August and never play. You're going to rob him and the whole country of potentially his last World Cup appearance because of a bad call, because, oh, that's what the rule says. Fuck that rule.
Thank you.
Just get it. Like, yeah, I agree. Like, I don't necessarily want Trump and Howard Lutnick or whoever.
Oh, fuck that guy.
Right. I don't want them like hiring lawyers and getting involved in whatever. However it went down. Yeah, I don't really love that. But that it shouldn't come to that. Have a system in place to get it right the first time, so that like we don't have this situation. So this was not an intent to injure. We see it all the time. Ronaldo was allowed. He had his red card suspension pushed just 4 years ago in Qatar. There is already precedent for this. Fuck everybody that's saying he shouldn't be allowed to play in this game. You, especially the people, which is almost everyone, saying it was a bad call. You agree that it's a bad call, but you want him suspended. How does that make any sense? Go fuck yourselves on that. And I do think it is like, there is like a United States where everybody hates us, and a Trump thing where everybody hates him. And like that has tainted this whole situation.
Yeah, definitely has.
But like in reality, this is proper justice. Like, he was already out for 30 minutes, could have cost us that game. Now you want a bad call to cost us another game? No. Fuck yourselves. I don't care about all these Europeans saying whatever. If this had happened to fucking Canada or Switzerland or whatever, I don't think people would be saying boo. Nope. This is because it's us, and it's because of our president, and it's like, that's what it is. And this is the way it should have been. This is proper justice. Also, that ref who called the initial red card, he's been under investigation before for match fixing. Who knows if he was doing it on purpose? So fuck this whole thing. This is the World Cup. It's FIFA. It's the most corrupt organization. They had slaves building stadiums in Qatar last time. Nobody said a fucking word. But we're all upset about this? About getting a call right? Shut the fuck up. So I'm...
And that's a show. Go America.
Go America.
Thank you everybody for listening. Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate it. Go America, and we'll see you guys next week.